All right, let's try this again. I am just playing around with streaming, and of course, if you have followed the other couple of attempts, you'll know that this is not my thing, really. I just want to sort of get a sense of how it works, so I'm not quite sure if I am streaming right now, if I am talking to myself. Either way, I guess this will be a learning experience. And I'm just choosing a 4th Age campaign that I've been playing for quite a while now as the Chiefdom of Rune. So I'll just kind of play around with this, periodically check back and forth. I'm kind of doing this to see how well streaming at different times might work. My past couple of attempts have been cut short due to connectivity problems, and I know that there are some high traffic times, and so I'm trying this at a fairly low traffic time internet-wise. So at any rate, let's kind of cruise around the map and review where I am at the moment. It's almost 200 turns in, which is very long for me for a campaign, really in any Total War game. But it's sort of a testament to how much fun I've been having as Rune here. Here I am sort of in possession of basically all of Mordor. I quickly took the Nirn region, took Barad-dur, and then recently, almost by accident, took Minas Ithil. These two forts that are currently held by rebels are also places that I did take, but I was not able to hold them due to the unrest. So basically, I took Minas Ithil, and then rebellion happened, and so I'm kind of cut off now from the rest of my territory. But that's okay, because Minas Ithil is a pretty great settlement to have, and currently I'm not at war with the Reunited Kingdom yet. It's very weird, actually. They have been just training a bunch of troops and not attacking the purple faction, the Kingdom of Adunabar, which is another Dúnedainic faction in the mod, sort of to represent the proposed cultic rise that Tolkien envisioned in his abandoned short story, The New Shadow. And so, although I've been doing a lot of damage to Adunabar, I've not come into conflict with the Reunited Kingdom yet, but I envision that that is about to change because we now share a border, so we'll see how long this continues. I am doing some stuff in the south, though, as well. I have taken a couple of settlements around Umbar, including Umbar City itself, and I've actually gotten to the point where I can train pretty much the highest tier things here. I've built the highest level barracks. That enables me to get a lot of low tier, local levies as well as my own native troops. But also, interestingly, Retainer Spearmen, which is a unique unit for the Umbar region. So a few other factions can get these. Of course, this is a Haradrian unit, essentially. But Rune can get it too if they get down here. We also have Axes of the Shadow because we have kind of gone cultic. And we can sort of see this most clearly by looking at our former capital, Tham. If you look in the recruitment here, we can see that we've got the Spears of the Shadow, Axes of the Shadow, Shadow Riders. So these are all very good units, but also fantastically expensive. And I actually prefer the native roster. If we take a look at the barracks here, that'll illustrate the difference. Our native recruitment would be these units. Cultic recruitment will be these. And really, the difference is that with the native recruitment, I could get Spearmen of Rune, Riders of Rune, Eastland Darkhelms, and Warwains. Whereas with the cultic recruitment, the difference is that I get, instead of those four, I get the Axes, Spears of the Shadow, and Shadow Riders. Everything else remains the same. You can still get Chieftain's Guard. You can still get the low-tier stuff. But I prefer the native roster primarily because of the Warwains. So what I'm trying to do is convert back. Now, the reason I converted to the cult is because I conquered a lot of territory in Mordor, which is cultic. And so the way this roster switch works in the mod is that you have sort of an invisible ticker that is sort of determining how many provinces you have with certain levels of cultic buildings or Ways of Darkness buildings. And those are the kind of religions or alignments in the mod. Of course, Mordor has a lot of cultic stuff, and as Rune, you can take over that and benefit from it. So I just kind of did that, and so now I'm cultic. So in order to counter that, what I've been doing is trying to build up the Ways of Darkness buildings, like this Trials of Blood building here, which has one more season left. And then if I do enough of these, eventually in enough cities, it'll kick back over to the native recruitment, and you can switch back and forth pretty much without restriction. So that's what I hope to do. In terms of what I've been doing in the south, well, I've also been using a lot of agents, a lot of assassins, or as they're called in the mod, rogues, and just messing with Harad, just destroying what they've got. So what is that? I took out a Dominion building, which is very important, and looks like an execution square. There are also, oh, this is very interesting. So this settlement just rebelled. I had it a little while ago, but I pretty much sacked it and abandoned it, just like I did this one, because I couldn't really hold them. As you can see, there's a bit of public order problems down here. And so what I did was just left, and rebels took it over, which I was kind of glad to see, rather than Harad taking it back. But now I'm seeing the Reunited Kingdom has landed a force here. This is not a very good one, and so I'm not sure that they're going to... I don't think they'll be able to take this. And if they do, I've got a spy in here who's pretty good and will probably cause a rebellion if he doesn't die of old age. But we'll kind of use our agents to maintain the balance of power around here. I may as well get... Well, let's see. Do we have an agent we can spare? Oh, we got all kinds. Let's get one of these old scouts. I trained a ton. He's got a swift steed. All right, let's take this guy. Let's get him over here just to keep an eye on this. So Harad has sent some forces to take back Athendad, and they probably will. Maybe not in this turn, but in possibly the next. But then they'll have to rebuild everything there. And so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Elsewhere, Harad has been doing well, but interestingly, so has Harandor. Harandor conquered these two cities, but then Harad took this one back. And then Harandor just moved east. They took this settlement with no signs of losing it, and they actually moved up into Low Khand. And so they've got a very strong presence, but it's got this interesting patchwork effect where Harad and Harandor are all in the area. Far Harad is still hanging on for now. It for a while was a protectorate of Khand, but then Harad moved in, Harandor moved in, Khand has been kind of pushed back, but I think they're okay because I've weakened Harad and distracted them enough, and I don't think Harandor is going to go too far into the north. Harad is still my ally, and it goes to show that you can actually have allies in this game for a very long time, as long as they have some, business elsewhere. So what I'm doing with this force, you can see it's kind of a mixed force. Got some cultic guys, got some berserkers, some Eastland Darkhelms that I actually bribed from a rebellion. So that's the only reason I have those. But some other mercenaries, and I was moving them south to help Khand, but then I realized that I don't think they needed the help. And there's some also very low-hanging fruit that I've been waiting to get, and that is this island settlement of Hythe. This is going to be a little tricky. It's Ways of the West alignment officially, but I've got a large force, and I think we'll be able to hold it. It's close enough to my home regions and the capital and so on that I think we'll be in a pretty good position. So I'd say we're probably ready to end the season. Oh yes, the other thing is Dorwinion got eliminated. This was also accidental. I had them down to just this one settlement and was trying for a very long time to get them as a protectorate, but they died. The faction just passed away when the last ruler died of old age, and I was not even besieging them at the time because I saw they were so low on family members. And so Rovanion took it, and that's actually excellent. I'm neutral with Rovanion. I've been refusing trade with them from the beginning. And again, the reason for that is I don't want them to get any ideas about invading. It seems like the AI uses trade to get its spies in there and then start a war. That's probably reading a little too much into the AI, but that seems to be what happens. First, they ask for trade when they share a border with you, and then a little while later, once they get trade, they go into the next objective, which is get a province. So if you can hold off that first stage of diplomatic relations with them, hold off trade rights, then they'll just keep trying for trade rights, right? And that'll seems to delay an actual conflict. So you can see that although we have pretty long borders with Rovanion, there's never been a conflict with them. So I'm happy to have that continue. But yeah, let me check out the stream, see if anything's happening. Oh, hey, Lucas. So let's see. I see Lucas there waving hello. I remember there was a way that I could sort of tab out and take a look at the stream, and I'm looking that there's a bit of a lag here, right? So am I muted? Well, we'll have to figure this all out. I did a thing that I think made it so that the delay is no longer an issue. I'm not sure if that worked. If there's sync issues, then kind of let me know. That'd be great. But I do remember a thing where I could kind of tab out and take a look at the chat with without looking at my entire OBS screen and YouTube screen and all of that. But I'm not really sure. And at any rate, it looks like you're looking at the map here, so we'll call that good. Let's end the season. Again, this is just a highly experimental stream. I'm trying to remember how to set this all up. It's kind of stupidly complicated, or maybe I'm just old and dumb, but the whole process of streaming, you'd think it would be as easy as pressing a button, and maybe it is, but it doesn't seem to work out for me. Anyway, here they go. They want to trade. No. Okay, we've got our Trials of Blood in Fennis Rim. That's the highest level of Ways of Darkness, and we're still cultic, sadly. So we'll have to look elsewhere. So my hope is that by getting more settlements, converting them to the Ways of Darkness, we could switch back. Another way I could do it is by destroying some of these cultic buildings. But here's the other thing: some of the cultic units are good, and in particular in Barad Eden, you can get Grond's men, which are a very nice unit. They're very expensive, but they've got a decent unit size, 61 men. Vassal Macemen you can get whether you're cultic or not. That's just a region-specific unit. They're pretty much limited to Mordor. But Grond's men are limited only to Barad Eden, and only if you are officially cultic. So if we take a look at the military buildings there, yeah, you can see they're on the cultic list. But the nice thing about them, of course, is that they are scary and they are effective against armor. So they're just a really, really nice unit to have. Kind of like tall and armor-piercing berserkers, except that you can control them over the course of the battle. So I've got a unit of them in here. I've also kept a bunch of mercenaries, the Blackland mercenaries, which are really good, can form a shield wall, as well as the Vassal Macemen. 3 light units of berserkers, but honestly, you don't need too many berserkers. And then we're just kind of holding out here and seeing what's going to happen. I'm afraid to take Emin Arnon because that'll expose me to a more advanced border with Harondor. It looks like the United Kingdom has left. They've decided not to pursue their attack on Habad, which is fine. Okay, so we finished one of our buildings down in Karis Nan. I'm kind of tempted to go with control posts, but on the other hand, yeah, that might be good. What's the population? The population is high enough, and it's growing, that I think we probably should do that. In terms of military here, we are ultimately also going to theoretically get up to the retainer spearmen. You can ignore that white box. It's just a display error that happens sometimes. So we can get the same stuff here as we can out of Umbar. Although this does not have the horses resource, so we're a little more limited in terms of our cavalry recruitment, I guess, in Karis Nan. But, yeah, I think we want to start training troops so we can get rid of the population here and get our garrisons up. Because the population in Umbar City is very low. Alright, do I want to wait for them to take this? I think I want to just keep them on edge. So let's get down here. Are they going to be able to attack? They could theoretically do it, but I don't know that it's going to work. And this will probably cause this army to head back and hit me over there. So we've also got a family member up here. I brought him over to theoretically help with Minas Ithil, but then we got sort of attacked, or hit by a rebellion. So let's see how many men we can get rid of in Barad Eden and still maintain public order, because I'm no longer so terribly worried about being attacked by a Dunabar. Let's get some long range. Yeah, let's get some more skirmishers. Okay, I think that'll be good. Everybody down here and under a family member. Okay, it's telling me there's mercenaries available, but I guess not. We'll just put this under siege and let's just wait. Okay, they actually went for Umbar City. I really thought they would be pulled over to the east. Alright, so we could take Hythe right now. And this is a pretty easy fight, because what you're going to do is you're going to besiege the city, and then you're going to run around it and intercept these guys before they come up the hill at you. But let's check out the news first. Okay, that's just an emissary and Thordram. I think that's okay. But the dwarves have been bribing my armies that I'm sending to retrain, so I'm a little worried that they might bribe a city too. It's always good to have an extra agent lying around to drive up the price of a bribe. I don't think I've ever had a settlement bribed that had an agent in it, so it's pretty good insurance. All right, now let's check this out. How bad of a situation do we have here? We've actually got a decent garrison. 1, 2, 3.5 units of swords. And that's really all that I'm worried about. Whereas we've got, okay, 1 full unit of axemen, some spears, these scary javelin guys, some cav of our own, a unit of archers. I think we would be okay. So while we could come and try to hit them there, let's knock this army away, and then we'll eventually head back. We'll risk it. We'll risk Umbar. Maybe this is a terrible idea. Let's send our spy around. We were gonna send some troops down here, but again, I figured probably Harondor is going to run into some trouble in the region. But notice how well they are situated here. They've got a lot of troops and some decent ones. You know, Harondor armsmen and stuff. But they don't command everything, right? Harad has Parchereb. I don't know that they're at war with Harad. They're not. So neither of them is going to grow particularly strong, right? Neither of these southern factions. Because if they're not at war with each other, they're only going to be focusing on their own territories. And Harad owns this, Harondor owns this, so they're not going to be able to mount, I think, a concerted attack on Khand, which is really my primary aim in getting involved in the south when I'm playing Rune. The only reason I get down to the south is because I don't want to see a gigantic Harad. And so that's what taking Umbar is all about. Okay, so the other thing we want to do is this, Outland Dominion there. It's going to get us 2,000, but a massive amount of that is going to be sucked away to mismanagement, unfortunately. Still going to make us almost a grand, I think, a turn. Okay, let's take Hive. Yeah, we got these guys showing up as reinforcements. All right, let's see how the stream is doing. If it is still going. Oh, I'm not sure. Oops. So yeah, the main thing here is to get around the side. And so fortunately we're attacking from an angle where we can set up everybody right here. Actually, I'm wondering if the sound got turned off. Let's check the audio. Yeah, okay. All right, we're actually good. So I want to get, let's see, the slingers out front. I don't have any archers. I do have horse archers. They'll be useful. And who else? I think for the city itself, we're going to want to go in with the Dark Helms. And these axemen. And then everything else can kind of head over in that direction.
The enemy are scared. They have brought even more men. No matter, we will count the dead later.
And we probably don't even need to rush because it'll take a while to get up that hill. all the way down there. The AI loves to do this for some reason, to take all of their troops, almost, out of the city. Alright, and this is just a unit of Ravanian Axemen. I think I'll lead with my Axemen, actually, then, because they are much more easily retrainable. These Dark Helms I can't retrain at all. We'll just move away so the Foresters don't have much of a target. They've got some Hunters, some Spearmen, some more Axes down there. Foresters are skirmishers, so they're going to be throwing javelins. But we've got such a height advantage that that's usually the you know, not a problem at all. So we'll just charge everybody in here. This is not going to be a great fight, but they're not going to leave the square. We don't have the archers with us. And this is not going to be a huge deal. We'll take some losses, but that's okay. Alright, so we've got 3 cavalry units here. Let's bring them over here, and then the bodyguards can go... Yeah, bodyguards can go right here, I guess. We'll run the Easterling skirmishers down. These Axes of the Shadow are going to be kind of superfluous, but it'll be good to have them do some flanking, I guess. Thing to watch for will be the archers down here. They're going to get a few free shots on us probably if we're not paying attention. And yeah, they're going to come up the hill already exhausted. Alright, so we're out of arrows here. Let's bring these guys away. We're kind of far from retraining them. In fact, we can't. We don't have the infrastructure for it. We don't have the regions for it either, really. But we'll wait until the infantry gets closer. And then get the berserkers in on this. Really, the units that I'm most worried about in some ways, in terms of melee, are going to be the spearmen. Because they can be very tough. But they're already exhausted, and then berserkers hitting them is probably going to be pretty much the end of that unit. We can hit these Ravanian Axemen, though. Let's, or the Hunters, rather. Let's get these guys ready and go for it.
The warlord of the enemy army is running like a startled goat. Hunt him. Goats make good eating.
Alright, Axes of the Shadow are going to be getting a nice charge. And the berserkers are coming the right place too.
The enemy army
And that's it for them already. Wow. Alright, so send a general. One of the generals after that. Actually, you know what? May as well end the battle here. Because since they're rebels, they will automatically just leave the field. If they lose, they don't retreat or anything. If I remember correctly. Alright. So we've got Hive, and we'll lay Desolate because it looks pretty unhappy. They don't have any Dominion building built, so that kind of simplifies things. But let's check out our public order. That's at 70, which is fine. This is 70. Okay, just barely. All right, Mordor has been difficult, but so far it looks good. The real thing is going to be down here. Karis Nan is at 65. Okay. And we literally can't do anything about that unless we move our capital. I really don't want to lose Karis Nan. But I don't think... I can't get anybody there just yet. So we'll just have to kind of hope. Well, one thing I could do is actually just train a bunch of these ships. Maybe that gets us to 70. Nice. Only 24 soldiers, but train enough of them, it'll drain off the population. Okay, so we're not going to get a huge rebellion down there or anywhere this turn. Okay, again, we're refusing trade with the Reunited Kingdom. We are pretty close. Okay, we're more than halfway. We need to get 40 provinces. We're at 22. We've got the 2 that we need up here, but we also need to get a Karn, which is a settlement of Khans, which is this one. It's their capital. Yeah, so we could, we'll get that at some point. Not worried about that. It's also kind of nice if you're playing a slow campaign to not have all of the provinces you actually need so that you can expand farther. Right? Like if I don't want to accidentally win with like 45 settlements or whatever it is. Okay, so everything's still looking good. We do have... nice thing is that we do have a docks here that's already built. So you want to be very careful not to destroy that because otherwise you can't get your guys off the island. With this, none of these guys is a really good governor. So let's just leave, see how many people we can leave behind. It's probably going to have to be a lot. Okay, that's actually fine. We'll leave the army here, though. It's going to be costing some cash, but this can now get over here if we need it, over here if we need it, up in the north if we need it. But the reason we don't need it up around here, even though we are, we were at war with North Rune, but North Rune is the protectorate of Dale. Dale owns North Rune. So that means North Rune is a passive puppet regime, and they can't do anything. They're not going to be attacking us. Protectorate status basically takes the fight out of you and turns you into a completely defensive faction. Right. So, again, I'm not sure what this message indicates. Let me know if this is going catastrophically. I would be much appreciated. So how long have we been going? Okay, so about a half hour or so. All right. We'll go for a little while longer. What I would like to do is sort of end the stream without being kicked out due to connectivity issues. So again, this is just a big experiment here. All right, so we've got 4,000 to spend. And we can now start heading back to protect or Umbar rather, and they're besieging my fort. Okay. They do have siege equipment, so they could theoretically assault this next turn. Geez, what do I want to spend now? Okay, this guy is attuned. So I probably want to do something with him. I'd like to stay within the amount of money that I'm scheduled to make, so really none of these would technically fit that bill, but you know, I guess we could go for tillage. That's going to give me another couple hundred. That's almost always a good bet. It is going to cause more growth at some tiers, not all tiers, but farms do tend to cause growth, and that can be a double-edged sword when you're playing a rapidly growing barbarian faction and running into problems maintaining public order. So I think maybe the other thing I ought to do is actually, if you ramp up growth too quickly, then you can't fight it. Let's see. Okay, why can I not build this? Requires urban province. Oh, but I have an urban province. Oh, it's because I need to choose a policy. All right, so let's see. Which policy is that under? I want to make basically the drinking hall here, or the heal. No, the Hall of Feasts. This requires open or financial. All right, that's perfect. That's the way I want to go anyway. So we'll go financial in Thordram, and we'll get the Hall of Feasts going, and that'll kind of help with the public order here. I think I must already have that constructed in Yarhelkar. Hall of Feasts? Why am I not seeing you? Oh, because I haven't even started the Hall of Drinking yet. So let's do that. Okay, we'll call that good. Okay, no assault. Karasnan looks like it did suffer some rebellion, some unrest. Okay, this guy is not great. He's poor at governing and commanding, but he is energetic and intelligent. He's unwise and short in stature. I mean, he could be an okay governor somewhere. Not going to be the best. But let's take him. He is in Raycoast. All right. We can maybe bring him up. Let's maybe send him around, or send him up to Thordram. Let's see if he can do some public order good up here. All right, we're at 65. We want to get to the magical number of 70. And we're at that here. But we just did run into some problems. And because we lost, or we took some damage to the barracks, we can't train units until we fix that. So we're queuing up boats until that gets fixed. Then I'll have to remember to undo that. Barati Den is also suffering. All right, let's get some relatively cheap garrison units. And skirmishers are good, but although they're less cost-effective, I think Easterling Warband are just better because it's just higher numbers, right? And now we're already looking at negatives. So you do have these back and forths where the economy really starts to tank at different moments. So yeah, 55. And now we have to rebuild everything. Oh my gosh. So that was a disaster. Can we get anybody in there? Yeah, only 40% garrison, so we could get another 40, which would get us up to 95 theoretically. But that's going to hurt our chances of fighting this off. Well, let's get everybody in. But the cavalry, how about that? Perfect. And now we can maybe take a bit of our time doing some of this stuff. I definitely want to get this queued up. But let's take a look at the costs. That's massive, 11,000. So we got to do this. I think we'll wait until this gets fixed because that may reduce the costs elsewhere. So let's just hit this with the cav, and then we've got our infantry as reinforcement. Oh, good, good. Thank you, guys. Thank you for letting me know. I'm also not sure how much the lag is, because what I'm looking at now, if you can tell, because I'm tabbed out at the moment, it's showing I'm 35 minutes and 52 seconds in, but it's showing what I did like the last turn. So anyway, thank you for bearing with me. This is only a little bit embarrassing. I'm a full adult grown man, and I don't know how to do streaming, which I feel like, you know, I feel like it's YouTube. It should be super intuitive and easy. But so here's our cavalry army. This is mostly horse archers that we grabbed on our way through Khand with another army. I basically put together some cavalry, and not much of that remains, as you can tell. We've got just some Eastland Raiders, and we did pick up these very nice mercenary Dragon Shield Riders. And the great thing about them is that they are scary, and they're obviously very good in melee. They're slow, but once they get there, they can do some damage. And so what we're going to do is just harass until the infantry gets here. And let's kind of take our time. I love the views when you're fighting around Umbar too, because you can see the harbor, and you can see the Pillar of Farazan over there in the distance. The city itself is down there somewhere over the hill, but all right, this army does not look too bad, does it? That could be misleading, but we've got 1, 2, 3 sword units. And a little bit of another one, so 3.5. And then we've got the only cav unit is these Herdwaith Riders, which I think we can shoot down pretty effectively. They don't have any long-range archers. The other stuff they have is skirmishers and footmen, right? Footmen of Harad, something like that. So I think we need to get these guys coming up the hill, actually. I'm being a little shy with my melee guys because I don't necessarily want to commit them. Okay, so let's you halt and you halt. You're going to take a ton of damage. But the very nice thing about Umbar is that all of the mercenaries in Harad who are native to Harad can be retrained in Umbar. So that's these Southron Spears. That is the mercenary Swording Skirmishers, which are my favorite merc unit.
Enemy warlord shows his worth.
And it also includes the what is it? The Harondor Rider Mercenaries. So that's just great stuff. You can basically use Umbar as your mercenary capital. Okay, but let's all use Spearmen. Hold off here. Let's come back. Alright, they're going to throw stuff at my axemen. So we'll try to charge them first. Right, we got some very eager cavalry here. Alright, the skirmishers are coming out. We'll just take them head on. Oh, head for the hills? Is that what I heard? Okay, there's the port down there. Alright, no, don't head for the hills. I want to do some damage to you guys. And we've got a bunch of arrows left for our horse archers. Keep the skirmishers on them too because they are so they're tall enough that they're actually very fast. Alright, get the horse archers. Okay, it looks like they're going to get away. The edge of the map is right there. Alright, yeah, so, sure. We'll just shoot the rest of these guys, basically. So armor is relieved. That's going to open up trade a little. But we took a lot of losses. Okay, that's actually not so bad. But we don't have enough population to retrain everybody, really. So I guess I could go... I kind of want to go with the Axemen. They seem the most kind of reliable. And let's go for one of these. For both of those guys. I think everything else is good. None of these units can be retrained in Umbar, sadly. But we'll just kind of keep them out in the field. Oh, and I guess I could have used them to hit this army. We'll do that later. After we do some retraining, we'll get them taken care of. Phone call. All right, back. Apologies about that. Just a quick phone call here. Let's see. Disconnected. Successfully connected. Okay. Are we back? Are we back? It looks like maybe, possibly. All right. Let's see where we are. Okay. So we have defended Umbar, and I think everything in the south is pretty much the limit of what we can do, apart from our continued sabotage attempts. You always want to take out those Dominion buildings because they pretty much limit everything else that can be done. Hosting halls are also good, but these sort of tribal grants, this kind of conversion stuff, is also a really big target because it, public order. It gives money and experience to units, so that's a very nice target for an assassin, and usually a pretty easy one. So even if you have those rogues that come out with just a few, oh my gosh, okay. We have a rebellion here, and I don't know how it started. It wasn't me. It looks like this must have been that they lost it. And now we have Harondor coming up. Okay, this is interesting. Harondor has been at war with the Reunited Kingdom. I've seen the Reunited Kingdom land troops here and besiege this settlement, but they have not successfully taken it. It looks like Harondor has held on to all of its territory successfully. And so now I'm not sure what the Reunited Kingdom is going to do. They don't share a border with this province, so probably nothing. Probably Harondor is going to come and attack me in Minas Ithil. Well, that's all right. We'll just deal with that. So let's just end the season. We're kind of losing a bit of cash, but we've got enough at the moment. Okay, the Hall of Drinking, the control posts, the provincial pacification, those were all things that we built anew. And so we definitely want to go with Outland Dominion. It's not showing that that is giving us any income. None at all. No land tax modifier. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Usually, the Dominion buildings are going to give you a substantial amount of money. But regardless, we need to build it. Both to maintain the public order everywhere in our realm and simply to unlock other buildings. So let's see how this guy does. He's new. He's probably going to turn that. Oh, he actually improved. Oh, that's good. Very good. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on local governance, and we'll untick these boxes so we can actually build things. That means this unit's going to be retrained, so we may as well do it anyway. And then that'll hopefully help him become a better governor, become more loyal to us. He's currently dutiful, which is wonderful. But letting him run the settlement on his own to some extent is going to help that even more. And even though we've already spent more money, this guy's getting old. You can tell by the gray beard. And so I want to make sure that he is, that we're taking full advantage of him because he's a very good governor and he's attuned. So we may as well use him as much as we can. I think I'll go ahead and do this. Raycoast is a great settlement for trade, as you can tell. 3,000 just in trade income. And so we can make, another 130 or so with that building per turn. It's going to improve population growth a little bit. But, eventually Squalor is going to cancel that out. So I think that should be okay. All right. 3 more seasons for that building. And, all right. Karasnan is looking good. All right, now we can actually do something about this. I'm not used to being a naval power as Rune, but we actually beat Harad. So we'll just keep our boats there. And actually, Harad is withdrawn. So do we want to keep using our cav, or let's get these guys with the Cavalry Army. 512. We'll take one of these units. I think the next place I want to get is Anumbar. I'm not sure if I can hold it, but I would like to get it. I'm thinking I could let Harad take this back. If they don't have any other big armies coming my way, and they don't, because again, Harandar has some of this territory, then I think I could risk a venture into the west.
Who shall die this day? He's dead. Killer waiting for orders. He's dead.
Alright, so yeah, we took out some good buildings there. So let's get our army together, and I think we want...
Yes, yes, Captain. Forward. Yes, Captain.
Will that be enough? We also have all of these guys just sitting there, but they're kind of there for public order purposes. Let's take him out. Actually, we can bring you down for retraining. Ooh, although we're running right up into our limit. Let's take these guys then. Okay, this is looking more formidable. We can move on here. Probably going to draw them to attack us.
Who shall die this day? He's dead. Who shall die this day? He won't hear a thing.
Oh my gosh, Mumikil training grounds. I forgot that these existed. But I'm not too worried about them. I don't think the AI ever trains them, which is really sad. It would be great and awful if Harandar actually, or Harad actually trained Mumikil, but they don't. All right, let's check this out. Yes, it looks like we're connected. That's probably me on the phone, why it's looking paused from my end. Okay. I'd like to have one more battle, I think, and then we'll probably call it to a close here. We lost Borthand. Okay, because we had an eruption. Mount Doom erupts, which means I lose a bunch of men. Wow. These were full units. Well, that's not going to be good for my invasion. All right, we gotta pull back then, because they're gonna sally, and we're probably gonna lose those men. And let's train another unit of axes. Actually, no. Archers are going to be more useful, especially in a siege. They got a few orcs headed down, but it's not going to do too much. You know, I could take this stronghold too, probably have that rebel, and that would make a nice little buffer. I haven't really felt a need for it, but yeah, that's really unfortunate. Okay, we probably have some. Okay, so we also lost some men in Baradi Den to lava, I guess, or earthquake. All right, Habad is now under siege. This is under siege. All right, they're gonna take these back gradually. But this is about buying me time. All right, this is going to be a literal uphill battle, but I think it's going to be all right. Where's that other stack? I can't even see it. Must be behind him. Yeah, you know what? Let's withdraw. And yeah, we'll wait. Income is looking really low, but I think we have to keep building. This is going to make us another couple hundred, theoretically.
Assassin ready. His death is near. Killer waiting for orders. Death approaches.
I guess anything that hits public order is kind of what I want at this point. In addition to hurting their troop training capabilities, you want to make sure that they can't you know, that they need to have a garrison.
He won't hear a thing.
So they don't feel comfortable sending a bunch of units out there, or they don't feel comfortable having high taxes to make more money or something. Alright, this is still looking good. This is looking fine, and Kand is still holding all of this. And Harondor has taken Emin Arnin, but they may not be able to hold it. We'll see. Working pretty well so far. Trade rights, I mean, Rovanian's been asking me for trade for a very long time. And, again, they've not attacked me. The most they've done is parked a very small unit right on the border. And what I did is I brought this army, which had a general at one point, right next to them. You match the move. This is something that I think I learned from Wombat, who is on the Total War Center forums, totalwarcenter.net. And there's a home there for the Fourth Age, of course, which I link to pretty much on every Fourth Age video. And he did a diplomacy guide talking about how to, you know, work the diplomacy in the mod, and really in Rome Total War more generally. Again, this is all before the remaster, which really changed diplomacy apparently. But I have not played very much because I am an old man about UI changes. Apparently, I've got extremely important opinions about UI and how it should look. Okay, so the reason I didn't want to attack there is they were on the high ground. It looks like they're still on the high ground, and the annoying thing is, if I besiege a settlement, it looks like they're going to be able to just hit me from behind. But it looks like there's a slight hill maybe where that assassin was standing. So let's get on that. Let's put this place under siege. And let's get some ladders and things. And I'm sure they're going to hit me. You know, what I have to do, actually, what I really have to do is get one of these retainer spearmen. I haven't done any of them, and it's a really cool unit. So train up one of those. We're probably going to have one more big epic battle here. And then we'll call it a day. All right, everybody's looking happy. I would like to get my capital back somewhere else. It's down here, which feels a little... it's not optimal because I was making more money when my capital was up here, but the public order was just harder everywhere. All right, we're actually showing some income here. Yep, we're attacked. I am going to save, just in case. I haven't done that in a very long time. And so, yeah, we're getting attacked with 1, 2, 3 units of swords. Oh, the cavalry are going to be a problem. 2 full units of cav, some archers, and there's more swords in the city. So this is going to be a frantic one, I think. We do have some units in terms of... All right, where did we go here? It's loading up the battle. Here we go. We do have some units that will cause fear. And I don't know why he's the general, but all right. So we've got that cavalry unit, the mercenary dragon shield riders. And then we've got these skirmishers. Now, why do we have this weirdness going on with... There we go. We're back. We're back to normal there. So we can get up here on the hill. The city is going to be coming from down there. We're pretty much due north of the settlement, even though I can't quite see it, unless that's it. And so they, since they're attacking, are going to be right up here. They're going to be kind of on our level for the most part. So we can set up in the back. We're going to get our horse archers up front, though. And I'm going to have... I'll keep the Eastland Raiders back. I'll have our Mercenary Dragon Shield Riders up front as well. Alright, here's our Spearmen. Here's our General. And we've got another one of these skirmishers. We got some Axemen. We've got some Warband, which is good for numbers. And we've got some of these cultic Axes of the Shadow. Okay, they're actually closer here than I thought. I thought they were going to be more downhill. So the big threats, I think, are first the cavalry. It really depends on how they use them. Cavalry can do a lot of damage just because there's so many of them. Second, the Swords of Harad. But I'm thinking that they're going to have a lot of marching to do, and so they're a bit less of a danger. And the archers, but you know, thinking about it, I'm not too worried about the archers because there's only that one unit. What's in the city, if they rush over, and if the AI times this well, then we could be in some trouble. Okay, we're doing some damage to that far unit. Skirmishers are coming over. Yeah, we're going to just trash that unit of Herodwaith Riders. Archers are already shooting at us, though. Alright, so it's time for the cavalry to come in. The heavy cav. And hopefully scare away some of these units. Yep, perfect. Okay, actually, we want you shooting at those guys. So they're going to charge in. Double click. Alright, let's just turn around and fight them. We're going to be able to rout them. Alright, there they go. And we'll run back and deal with these archers. And that leaves pretty much just the captain's cavalry unit. And then all these swords who are going to meet up with the reinforcements here. This is another Herodwaith Riders. Swords, swords, skirmishers, and footmen. Okay. Very doable. Great. Alright, I'm going to leave the tiny unit to go after the routers there. Okay, they're actually done. Get rid of these swords. Let's see. I want these guys on the good part of the hill. Kind of running out of arrows. the swords are a bit of a wasted target when it comes to arrows because, or the footmen rather, because they've got shields. You don't really want to be shooting in the front of them. Alright, so let's take you off fire at will. We actually only have like 2 units with arrows left. So I guess we'll deal with these cavalry. Or not. We didn't do much damage to them after all. Alright. Scary Cav can go back up the hill. And then we'll just do what we can with these guys. I want to retain them because they'll be useful for chasing down routers, and they can do some damage in a massed charge. Okay, so they're waiting. But I do not want that. Alright, very good. Alright, nice. Not so nice. Hairdweight riders. Okay, but we're routing the center. Got to turn around and deal with these guys. Wavering. I think we're going to get them. We've got another army here. Okay, it's gonna be messy. Everybody down here. There goes that unit.
Attack and drive them back in this.
Alright, let's hit the Hairdweight riders. Again, very messy, but I think we're going to get them here. Swords are now my biggest concern. We got 2 full units to deal with. With the captain gone, they may be inclined to rout. Okay, we've got rid of the footmen, so now we can push down through. Look at those javelins. Absolutely disgusting. There we get some more cavalry that wants to jump back in. Let's get up here, make sure we've got pressure on the skirmishers and these routers. But those swordsmen are folding, actually. Alright, you need to war cry. Now, let's hit our captain in there. Alright, great. Wasn't expecting them to rout quite that quickly. Beautiful. So this is for Anumbar. We'll see if we get it. Oh yeah, 94%. We should get it. And there's just that unit. So I think we can end the battle here. And we lost a little over 100. And that also took out, it took out a production center, right, and Umbar. And it also took out some units that were massing in the region who could have gone to Umbar, who could have gone to Karas Nan. So that's good to be rid of both of those things. All right, so Anumbar has fallen. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to hold it, though. Let's see. We took out a lot of population there, but it still looks red. 40%, actually, yeah, just barely. Just barely. Nice. All right. Okay, so I'm seeing, let's see, how do you train those rogues to such high skill? Hi, Flavius. Let's see, how did I do that? Well, you can, in Umbar, if you're playing Harad, you can train units that are quite good. Agent, rogues, and that type of thing. If you're playing as Rune, then obviously you can't, but I think all I did was just repeatedly hit their easiest sabotage target, which would be the Dominion buildings. And I had a spy in the city, very good spies that I kept at high skill by leaving them in Umbar for a few seasons, and they got the network established trait. And then I would send them off to a settlement that was like within a turn away, right? So Habad or Karas Nan or whatever. And then what I would do, once you got a spy in the city, then you train like 2 or 3 rogues, and you just send them to repeatedly hit those relatively soft targets. I found that you would get a, with a rogue with like 1 point of subterfuge skill, he would have something like a 34% chance of taking out one of the Dominion buildings, and that was the easiest thing to hit. So for the most part, eventually they'd start to gain some experience. I didn't lose too many. I lost, maybe 4 or 5 rogues, but that's about it. So I'm observing a bit of buffering going on in the stream over there. We'll see if it gets past that point. Let's see. I'm very curious to see how that develops, but I'm hoping the battle actually showed up on the stream. So that's pretty nice. Okay, we lost our noble in Belligant, and he was the governor there. Now we do have another governor who's ready to take his place. He will get the governance trait here. But yeah, look at the difference. 50% public order. We lost a really good governor there. So what can we do about that? Well, we can beef up the garrison. So it's time to bring these guys in, I guess. That gets us up to 60. I really thought that would do more, but you can see the population is still growing. So that's just going to make it harder and harder. All right. So then we'll do, let's see, what is the most numerous units? It's got to be these guys. 65. Oh, we can't get to 70. Okay, well, let's go to 65, which is that. And I'm actually wondering if he is causing a bit of unrest. No, he's actually helping. So we need to leave him in there. And we're going to go for the Hall of Feasts, which is going to give us another 5%. It's just, you hope that you don't get a rebellion. It may be time, though, to think about moving the capital back up to Tham. Let's see what that would look like. Losing 1079 with the capital at Adel. With the capital at Tham, be making 2712. We don't have public order problems in Belligant or the north anymore. In Mordor, we're seeing all kinds of red faces. Minus Ithil looks good because the population is just so low there. Yeah, see, that's the thing. We had to move it down here because Nirn is insane. 55, 60, 65. Now we can do pit fights here. So that's good. That costs a lot of cash. Yeah, there's just no way we're going to get this up to 70. We can get it to 65. I don't think it's worth it. I mean, obviously, Belligant is a great place to hold, but like four settlements here, And I didn't even get down to Umbar yet. How's this looking? Okay, actually, oddly, this is fine. Probably because of the low population. We've just got to, like, get rid of a bunch of people in Nern. Alright, we can get to 70 in Mulsad. And let's build... Jeez, I want to know what the cap is for population. Because the herbalist is going to make people happy. Right? It's that public order due to health. It's also going to grow the population, which is going to make people sad because they're going to be overcrowded. So I'm not sure if it's worth doing that. Similarly, I had a thought of upgrading the barracks, but the problem there is we'd need to get to the hosting halls before we could get our warband. I want to use warband for garrison because that's the most number of men you can get. So I guess what I'll do here is I'll just keep training a bunch of warband in Lond Nernin where I can get them and then spread them around to the other settlements. That's 70. Saragon is at 55. Can we get it? We can get it to 65. Is it worth risking rebellion in 2 settlements? Because we can't get to 70 here. But is it worth risking rebellion there to keep things happy in Belligant? And I'm spending 16 grand to do it. I don't know. I think what I can do is get rid of some of these guys. Really, I think the optimal capital for us right now is Erebos. Because it's just more in the middle. Adel is really close to Nern. Tham is not, but Erebos is, I think. Well, maybe not. What about Athrad Morn? Let's try Athrad Morn. All right, so this place is happy. Belligant, we can probably get to 70. Yep. And we were... Okay, actually, I like it. That should be better down here, too. It doesn't have any effect on Umbar. Alright, so Saragon is happy. Okay, Athrad Morn it is. Let's get rid of all of this. And we'll definitely keep building happiness buildings. And I think we also need to keep building those warband because 90 versus 110, I mean, it's not much, but every little bit helps, right? And we can actually get rid of the monthly pit fights. It's going to make us another 300 or so. All right, but we're getting Outland Dominion going here and here. Okay. Let's take a look if the stream has resolved. It has. Hooray. Hey, King Pim. Let's see. This is a mod called 4th Age Total War. I am going to post a Total War for Rome, Total War Barbarian Invasion. Let me see. Well, I'm sure that should be enough to go on. You want to go to the ModDB page for that to find it. And it's not the remaster. That's the other thing. This is not based on the new remaster. This mod was released in, I think, 2015. And then we did some sort of upgrades to it in the past, several years. But all of the work on the mod was done before the remaster was released. And so the idea of porting it never really was an option. All of the team members, myself included, are now working on a new project, Wayne Riders. That's also not going to be for the remaster, but anyway. Okay, I said we were going to have another big battle, and then we were going to call it a day, but we got to destroy some things here. We can benefit from this execution square and all of these other things, including the road camp, apparently. So I'm going to keep all of that. What we're going to need to do at some point is get rid of this Homeland Dominion, but I'm happy to let the public order drain out of here, or the population, rather, so that we can have lots of, we can have not a lot of people to cause unrest. Get our assassins back around. It looks like Harad has retaken Adabara. Or Athendad. I can never remember the names of these. This is Adabara over here. So they could be coming back to attack us pretty soon. But they've got almost nobody in here. So I could get a spy in there. Let's get one of these guys who's pretty old. All right, 100% public order. If I get my assassins down there, can they, first of all? Yes. Nothing to sabotage, so they've not built anything yet. All right, I could almost kill this guy, but not really. So I'm not going to bother. We'll just keep doing this. And yeah, let's hit the hosting halls again. I don't know if it makes much of a difference. If it's damaged only a little bit, then it prevents them from using it. So they can't train anything out of there now anyway. But damaging it even more means it's going to cost them more. So that's good. All right. I was kind of hoping the Reunited Kingdom would have taken Habad, because it would have been neat to see them down there. But yeah, look what's going on up here. It's just ridiculous. I don't know why they're not attacking. We've got 7 stacks. Right? 7 stacks out in the field. Adunabar has a few. But they're just not... They're not attacking each other, it looks like. Maybe they are. They're having battles that I can't quite see. Okay, we got to stop the warboat training up here in ER Helkar. We don't need that anymore. We rebuilt the... or we repaired the barracks, I guess, that had got damaged in the slight revolt there. Okay, he's now attuned, which means he gets some benefits to construction costs and everything, so I may take advantage of that right now. You can see our income is kind of slowing. We are making 7,000 a turn. And because I want to stay on top of public order, I think we'll go right to, let's see. We need to get, where's the drinking? Okay, so we've got the Hall of Drinking. We now need to get the, oh, that's right, we went with military in Thordram. I meant to go with financial, didn't I? So let's cut that. We want to go with financial so that we can make the next feasting hall building. And that will allow us to get more public order. Now up here, I think we want to go public order all the way, so we'll just keep doing that. Financial policy, and let's see, our Helkar. I don't think there's too much I want to do here. I mean, I guess we could go the Hall of Feasts. This is taking more income from us, but it's not too much. It's only 40. And, you know, 20 of that was mismanagement anyway, so it's really only costing us, I think, 20 a season. So that's quite good. All right, down in Adel, what could I do? This is going to be a pretty easy choice. So another couple hundred in cash. No effect on population growth, so we're not going to be worried about public order here. All right, and everybody's looking happy here. I'll just keep training the war band. And actually, we've got a bunch. Now, at one point, I had trained a bunch of ships. There was a single boat of Adunabars just hanging around the Sea of Nirn, and they were just occasionally blockading my port. So I trained up a few ships and found out that they're pretty useful for moving men around here. So you don't have to march them all around. Some of these river crossings are far from the sea. All right, 2 seasons for that. I think that's when we'll end. We'll get that finished, and then that'll be the point that we've reached. Hey, it's Revan. Hello. Oh yeah, the The Rome add-on, there was at the Lost Legion. I remember that. I never played with that, but I think what it was is it added a single stack of Roman troops, like they somehow got sort of warped into Middle Earth, and it was like a Julii, a bunch of Hastati and Principes and stuff. So yeah, I never played that one, but it always sounded entertaining. Now, this is where the game lies to you, and I don't know exactly what causes this. But you know that in the mod we don't have age displayed anywhere because it's Middle Earth, and we've got elves and dwarves and Dunedain and short-lived men running around. And because we're using the Rome Total War engine, we can't have immortal characters with this EXE. So rather than have the age displayed, which would be a little immersion breaking, I guess, we went with traits instead, so that there is an impact. So long-lived races are going to have traits that don't get worse as they get older, whereas short-lived characters are going to have traits that get worse as they get older, and so it kind of balances out. But anyway, this guy is apparently youthful, but his gray beard tells me different. Now, I'm going to take him because he's the best guy I've ever seen pop up for a marriage offer. He's learned in lore, he's energetic, intelligent, and charismatic, a 3 for 3. And he just looks fantastic. So I'm going to take him. He's expert governor, expert commander. Where is he? Athradmore, that's the capital. We'll see how long he sticks around. I'm not really holding my breath. Where should I put him, though? I mean, obviously Umbar. Let's do it. Let's see if he can get to Umbar. We'll just go down through. We should be able to dodge the armies pretty well. We'll pick up some mercenaries on the way down, get some more of those Kandian horse archer types, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, one season. Well, I feel like I can't leave now. Revan just joined. And I've got nothing to do today. It is a snowy day. The family is in another state. Literally, they went to visit the in-laws. I had to work yesterday, so I couldn't go with them. So I'm forced to sit here and play video games for a good chunk of the day. I don't make the rules. All right. What do we do with this? They do have some buildings now. We could just keep messing with them. They'll never be able to do anything with this settlement as long as we keep doing that. So I think here's what we'll do. We'll train another rogue, and we will sort of show how we work at leveling up rogues, basically. 7,000 income. Okay, so we've got actually room for all of these guys. Beautiful. All right, one season. And only 4 for that. Building pretty much everywhere I want to. Although Thordram, right, we were going to go with financial. And then Gwaithring, we've got the money. I kind of want to go with urban province, so let's just do that. It'll be helpful so we can get some higher tier, like happiness buildings. Now in Raycoast, we're just about done with all the building we can do. Our capital is moving farther away, so it could be time to do stuff like Execution Square. This does have a cost in terms of land tax, so it's like 100. So we're losing 100, but we're also losing like 400, almost 500 in terms of mismanagement. So, that's kind of a no-brainer. And, oh, hey! Yes, we are no longer cultic. Oh, fantastic. That must have been, when did that happen? Probably Karis Nan flipped it because we just got up to, oh, actually, no, we didn't even finish the brawling contest. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was taking Hythe? Nope, that's not. I don't know. Maybe it was taking Hythe because it's a settlement that's not cultic. Maybe that's enough to do it, but that's wonderful. Now I can retrain all these guys who have been waiting for 1,000,000 years. Let's do it. Yes, Waynes, Riders of Rune. Oh, lovely, lovely. Okay. Now I can get my big kind of, ridiculous rune army together and then do something fun with it. I've not touched Rovanion yet. Maybe it's time for that to change. And we're not at war with the Reunited Kingdom. Like, this has been shockingly peaceful. It's crazy, but it's been nice. All right, that's costing us a lot of money, so we'll just end the season there. All right, yeah, no trade with you. All right. Just checking the delay on the stream and everything. Okay, looks like it's still going. I have no idea how the lag appears, if lag appears from your end. I tried a new setting tweak, I guess, so we'll see how that works. We got minus Ithil finished in terms of Outland Dominion. This is so great. Let's see what we can actually build here. Okay, it's interesting. We don't get high tier assimilation units, so we don't get the vassal macemen, the retainer spearmen. We don't get any of that, but we get some local levies because minus Ithil is part of Gondor, so it gets Gondorian specific units. These guys are not, superb. But these guys, I like them a lot. They're super cheap, effective against armor, and I just like the idea of these guys with basically fur capes and two-handed axes, and they're fast-moving. I like light units like this for some reason. All right, so I guess we could go... All right, I'm hesitant to go up to Groves of the Shadow, but Cultic seems like the obvious solution here if we don't want to piss off the population. There's no neighboring Ways of Darkness settlements. Well, let's get the control posts going. We'll worry about that a little bit later. Now we just flipped back to Ways of Darkness. I don't want to undo all of that work by starting another cultic settlement type thing. Okay. We don't have any cav at the moment. But here we go. And these guys are expensive, but I think it's fine. I'm not sure that this guy's going to live anyway to make it all the way down to Umbar. And if he does, even if he does, what difference it's going to make. All right, so Habad has fallen. Okay, but we have here our new rogue, who's got no skill. Let's see how hard it is for him to do this. 36%. Okay. All right. Successful. He's now up to 1. So, and I think there's nothing for him to do. But let's train another rogue, because you want to have a few kicking around. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting I can actually train units here. So I should probably do that. All right, and then we'll just send them around for garrison duty only. Nice thing about taking this, if I can keep it garrisoned, I never have to worry about it because we're not going to get attacked unless the Reunited Kingdom comes down, but I don't think they're going to come down for this. And Umbar seems to fly under the AI's radar for the most part. All right, Habad, yeah, let's just hit the market, the road camp. We'll just make it hard for him. Actually, let's do the hosting halls. And we'll send you back. But we do need some rogues to get trained up because these guys are getting old. All right, everything here is looking just fine. Okay, they're doing a good job holding on to this. I don't know exactly where they're going or where their big armies are headed. It's not towards Khand. Oh, this is so good to have all these guys back. Spears of Rune, Warwains, Riders of Rune. Awesome. Okay, so now I could actually build my hunting lodges here because those are going to give a bonus to our Warwains. So let's do that. It's going to take a chunk of our income, 200. It's going to add some of that back for trade, so we're really going to only lose like 150 or so. And it's actually going to save us a bit in mismanagement. So we're actually, it's only going to cost us about 100 per turn. It's costing us a lot of cash, so I think we'll end there. Yeah, let's go down to Umbar first. Get that rogue out of here. Now, sometimes you'll get a rogue who's just good. Okay, so that's... We got a Swift Steed. Now, why do we get a Swift Steed ancillary for all these guys? It's because of this building right here, Horse Farms. This is, I believe, this is the highest tier of the horse industry building. And so when you get those industry buildings, they give you some trade buffs, right? They give you usually trade and then something else, right? At the second tier, they give you something else. With fish, it's growth at the second tier. With wine, it's happiness. With horses, it looks like it's just more trade. So why, right? It doesn't seem to be more lucrative than any other. But sometimes they get ancillaries. So agents in this case are going to get these Swift Rider ancillaries. So it doesn't add to his skill, but it means he gets extra movement points and line of sight. So that's kind of nice. And we'll send him around to see what he can train up on. 36% on that provincial pacification. Let's do it. And he lives. But he doesn't gain any experience, sadly. Okay. All right, so now you've got a 72% chance. And that worked again. So, you know, you just got to keep at it. It's not that bad, right? It seems as though 36% is a death sentence. For some reason, I'm much more inclined to send someone on a 36% chance mission than on a 75% chance mission. 75% just triggers me for some reason. It's just, that's the one where I lose more spies to 75% than to anything else, it seems like. All right, we've got our brawling contests done down here. If we go with that, it's not going to improve public order, but it will give us some extra land tax, so 200. We're going to lose a bunch of that to mismanagement. Okay, let's actually do some restorative stuff. And yeah, we'll retrain these guys. Still get a little money left over, so I'm going to hold off. All right, you look like you're going to head somewhere, maybe. I guess we got to start training some actual people here. Yes, we got Riders of Rune. Oh, very good. Okay, so let's compare Retainer Spearmen with Spearmen of Rune. 12 attack, 4 charge, 28 defense. 12, 4, 28. 11, 3, 29. So these guys are a bit better on defense. These guys are a bit better on offense. But these guys are cheaper. Same numbers. The difference is these guys are going to be more useful down south because of the desert bonus. And otherwise, yeah, these guys are a bit less disciplined, may charge without orders. And these guys can hide in the long grass. So, you know, if you want to save a bit of cash, slightly more defense, Spearmen of Rune. So we'll probably mix it up a little bit. Let's go with a Riders of Rune unit. Actually, no, I think we want to go... Let's see, we've got 40 in this, 56 in that. Yeah, let's do this guy because we don't have that much population here. So I could potentially... Let's see, this would help with population, wouldn't it? Yeah. It would hurt happiness. And it would help trade, but it's going to hurt land tax by 200. I just don't know. I don't think I want to do it. What we can do theoretically is move population around other ways. So let's see. We'll train up the fleet and then we'll send them down here. And then we'll use these boats to ferry troops out to Anumbar. So we'll get some of these guys over to Garrison. I don't want to risk sending a footman unit by land because we're going to be attacked by these swords and we're going to lose. Alright, you are attuned up in Belligant. Nice. Okay, and we do have a bit of spillover in terms of our units here. Okay, but because we have the ability now to train Spearmen of Rune, we can retrain these guys. What is that unit size normally? I think it's 80. So 56 and 23, that's just under, which is why I was not sending them for retraining, because we were going to lose a unit if I combined them. Alright, there we go there. 2 seasons for Hythe to get finished. Okay, everything is going great. A little more cavalry available here. Khand is usually a pretty active area for mercenaries. And no trade for you. Alright, Barati Den, which I've not been paying attention to, is under siege. So, they've got some interesting units. They've got these Uruk Guard, which are probably coming out of here. And a bunch of other orcs and stuff that looks kind of weak. My army here looks kind of weak anyway. And the general that I brought over got killed by the eruption of Mount Doom. So, we have basically this to work with. I think we'll be okay, though. Let's move our spy out of here. We've got him just up on top of the hill, pretty much, to keep an eye on things. Alright, we've got a bunch of Rovanian units. Very chewed up stuff overall. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. I don't think they can get in past this. We've got a couple archers, couple skirmishers. I would love to have a berserker unit in here. And I could train one in Lond Nurnen, but it takes 2 seasons. But let's do it. Send you guys over for garrison. Lost a spy, and no more childbearing for Albraid. Okay. So yeah, we're behind a little bit in the stream, it looks like, but probably maybe not too bad. So as you can tell, I don't have a 2-monitor setup. That would certainly make it easier to keep an eye on comments. But I lack that. So I'm wondering, you know, I've got some extra monitors lying around. I wonder what it would take to get that to work. Oh, see, they get ahead of me. They got Homeland Dominion. All right.
Killer waiting for orders. His death is near. Who shall die this day?
We don't have Umbar itself under siege. But in 1 season, we'll have that Riders unit. I'll bring them over. I'll bring them out and we'll attack some of these guys. But they are clustering around, aren't they? Okay, pretty high population there. Let's go with city development. This is going to give us some happiness. Just 5%, or actually 10. Okay, great. So we'll take that. And, you know, since we're at the point of a major province, and we really could just go for like a cattle trader or something, because we've got the highest level market, I think. Where is that? Yeah, Grand Market. So we could get going on that pretty quickly. Cattle Trader is a pretty good specialization building for Rune. Alright, so that's right. They've just taken this back. Yeah, so I guess we're just in waiting mode here. But we can send units down from Karasnan. In fact, let's get one of these guys just so that we can facilitate sending the rest of them south if needed. All right, we're not at war with Harondor, but we're trespassing on their territory now. And so that's liable to make them upset. I'm really surprised Khan hasn't tried to take that back.
Orders. March. Move. March. No more moves. March.
All right, and up here, not a lot of money. Let's see, we've got financial policy. This might be a good place for berserkers, actually. Or maybe Gwaithring would. That would help with happiness. This, I feel, is always going to be a kind of rebellious settlement. And so maybe this is a place where we get cattle traders or something. Let's go for now. Let's get rid of some of this mismanagement. It's going to work out to a net benefit. But we'll call that. And then, geez, this guy is still alive. He's holding on. He's seasoned, so I feel like we've got to queue him up. Oh, he's got the Master Kine Trader. That's awesome. A herd of great kine is often the foundation of an Easterling's wealth. A Master Kine Trader is one of the more formidable men in any settlement. So, plus 10% trade income and increased public order. So very cool. That's because, no doubt, the specialization building here is the Cattle Trader. So that's giving him some extra trade, some public order. Oh, that's actually really useful to know. Okay, so what we want to do is, I think we want to go with roads. Now, roads are sort of a drain in a sense because they have an upkeep cost. So that's a little over 100. They're going to add some trade. They're going to add a tiny bit of mismanagement. 3550, 3683. So that's actually a little over 100 in profit. So if you have a settlement that has a lot of trade income, roads break even, right? You can pay for the roads and maybe even still make a little money over the top of the upkeep. So it's just something to watch. I could have built the roads earlier, but it's nice to have them because we've got a huge amount of terrain to move troops around. All right, we're just waiting in Baradi Den. No one has even crossed the Anduin. This is just incredible. The most peaceful Western Front I've ever had. Now, where I want to go with this campaign ultimately is I want to take Minas Anor. Like, I want to attack this. I want to take Athelion. I want to take Minas Anor. Maybe I'll leave Harondor. They're being fine. But I would love to get an awesome Easterling host, like several stacks together, and just come in over here and take out all of these armies. So it's kind of cool that they're not blobbing and, you know, like getting humongous, but they're still training a lot of troops. So that'll make an interesting fight later. So I'll try to get that either as a video, another snapshot video type thing, or maybe a stream. We'll see. It'll take me a while to get to that point, of course. All right, now Umbar City is under siege, but we've got our Riders of Rune. And we've got another Outland Dominion done. So we should be all caught up, except for Umbar. So now we can get going on that. And I'm really pleased with how happy this place looks. I'm almost reluctant to do this. I'd like to let the population go down a little further, but it's the responsible thing to do. See, actually, now that there's no troops around here, I'll still send the fleet down, and the goal will be to hurt this this navy. But I'm no longer so worried about getting caught by the land forces, so we'll send those guys over. And those guys, we will have to get the boats. Okay, but let's hit this army. Now, this is going to be a little annoying. We're going to get some reinforcements from here. Let's see what that looks like first. Okay, 2 swords, 2 cav, 1 archer. Alright, another footman and cav. 2 swords, 2 cav, 1 archer. That's very similar to what I've got. I think we could do it with just this force. I don't know if we can get these guys down here in time. Actually, we can. So let's get a mix. We'll go with some archers, some spears, something like that. Just down there. And they will show up as reinforcements. And that balances, tips the balance of power more into our favor. I've got to say, we've been going for about a couple of hours, and I am very pleased that we only had the one moment where chat was disconnected. So I'm not sure exactly what that means. If it's just the time, this is just a better time of day to do it, less traffic. Alright, here's our very nice retainer spearmen. They are basically spearmen of the serpent, but they have a different shade of red. So it's very nice. Of course, they're more fitting with the rune color scheme, but I like the idea of taking over other territories and getting units that represent those territories, you know. It just makes you feel like a big, sprawling empire. So we've got these guys. We've got these kind of lower tier spearmen, which I think I'll use just for flanking, you know, backup duty. We've got archers that we kind of want out front. And then these skirmishers that we kind of want out front as well. Now, usually a nice thing to do in this type of scenario is to have a bunch of horse archers, because you can chase the AI when they go to reposition. You get your horse archers out here and you get a ton of free shots. That's not going to work this time. Our reinforcements are over here. And let's see if we can get them to go along the hillside. Their reinforcements are going to come from further south. And they were besieging the fort. Now, the reason I had a fort down there in the first place was because I was running into a sort of a crash where the AI would put an army like on the campaign map, like right around here. Like they would be besieging Umbar from the southwest, right? So they'd have an army right about here on the campaign map. And you'd go attack them or something, or you'd sally out or whatever. And basically, if there's an army down here that's going to show up as reinforcements in another battle, then that causes the game to crash, I think, because this is kind of an ocean tile or something. I don't know. It's just that particular spot, enemy units being on that spot would cause a crash, basically. So I put a fort there so the AI couldn't get down into that region and cause trouble that way. All right, now I'd like to go and get them from this side, but we're going to get sandwiched here. But maybe what I can do is take out these guys before they meet up. Oh, okay. Alright, let's try our new spearmen, if they're going to work out well or not. We're for sure going to take some losses here. But I think we definitely have them. And those footmen are not going to last very long once the general goes. So we lost about 30 of those retainer spearmen. Yeah, they're gone.
Now hunt them down.
Okay, I'm glad I brought the reinforcements. 2 swords, archers, 2 cav. This is, you know, I feel like I'd be cutting it a little close. And maybe we're going to have to do it without the reinforcements because they are approaching pretty strongly. So, let's see. Actually, here is a case where I think I want my weaker spearmen out front. So we're going to throw javelins and... I'd rather lose my light guys than my heavy guys.